So hello guys, today we are with Billy and here is Billy himself. So would you like to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, Billy, older gay guy. 63. I live in Scotland, just outside Glasgow. Basically discovered I was gay when I was about 11 because I just took attraction to boys more than anything else, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a slight wee synopsis of what Billy is at this moment in time.
I heard, no I didn't really hear, but I've seen in your bio that you have got HIV.
Yeah. I was diagnosed with HIV when I turned 50, so I'm coming up for 13 years living with HIV. It was one of these things, I'd went 7 months, going back and forth to the doctor with all these different complaints. I thought it was an ulcer, then I thought it was something else. And then 7 months later, they asked me, would you do an HIV test? And I went, yeah, no problem, because as a gay man, I've been tested before. And from that, it was just a case of like, that result came back and it told me I was positive. So at that stage, they then found out regarding how much HIV was in the body,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I ended up being a late diagnosis, which caused a lot of internal problems. Things went on, but yeah. But now with HIV, as you'll probably see in my bio on like Instagram and any other apps that I may be on, that I've got UD after it, which means undetectable.
Yeah.
Which means your viral load is so low that you cannot pass it on to anybody else.
Yeah. Also, I've just noticed the cushions. I love the cushions in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just something that happened by accident because I like the colours. I've ended up with a love cushion and I've got obviously Freddie Mercury in the couple at the back there.
I'm trying to think what else I can say. It's a bit of an hard one, really. Who did you mostly tell when you first came out? Who did you mostly tell? I'm guessing you told your parents.
Well, the funny thing was, it wasn't that way for me. It was one of those ones, I ran about with a crowd, and for years they kept thinking, it wasn't that I was a closet gay, it was one of those ones where locally I ran about a group of 13 guys, and we all ran about, but I knew I was gay and knew nothing about the rest of it. But they had girlfriends and stuff like that as time went on. And we used to always hit the pubs, then hit what we would say the dancing, at the weekend.
Yeah.
And I always left on my own with the rest of them, like had a girl or a girlfriend with them, stuff like that. And then we went to a house party at one point. Now, I was about 19 at the time.
Yeah.
And it was this whole thing where somebody just cornered me in the kitchen and all the rest came out of the kitchen. And it goes like, Billy, we need to ask you this question. So the question they asked me, are you gay? And I went, yeah, but I just took it for granted that you knew. You know what I mean? Because, like, I don't change for anybody. What you see is what you get. Yeah. But for them, it was a case of they just did it confirmed. They could not understand how I could go to the dancing and then all these females who would come up and got dance, have a carry on with them, always hugs and kisses. But they just couldn't understand how I never left with anybody.
Yeah. So I'm guessing, is the gay scene a bit like our scene in Manchester, like all the bars and that, or is it not very big?
The gay scene in Glasgow is basically quite a good scene. It's a strong scene. Everything's all about the area. They're all within walking distance of one another. There's nowhere you need to travel to. More so the fact you've got the whole thing about like everybody knows each other from the bars, so you get that whole safe thing in and out. But you've got your typical bars where the young ones will go, then you've got the ones that's got a really good mixed crowd, and then the other one that's got a niche, maybe a type bear bar or something like that. But I think it's like everywhere, no matter where you go, in Manchester, Leeds, London, they've all got the same types of bars eventually.
Is it me thinking wrong, but are you near enough? Do you class yourself as a bear, or was that me thinking wrong?
Sorry, I missed that.
Say that again.
missed that question, Ben.
I said, do you class yourself as a bear?
Well, it's strange other folk do. Yes, I'm hairy. Yes, I'm older. Yeah, I've got the beard as a must. As a must, but I don't know. I don't really like labels on folk.
No.
You know what I mean? When it comes to being attracted to certain individual men, I like my men to be men.
Yeah,
So, and a beard is quite good.
Yeah.
Everybody else sees me as a bear, I'll be honest.
I don't get...
If it's no that, it's Papa's Fluff.
I don't get that bear festival they've got in Manchester. Like, one of my friends, he went the other week, and I don't get the point in it. It's like, I know we should have a pride event, but why have a total different event just for them? That's what I don't get.
Yeah, it's just strange, you know, like, people want to label, but if you're going to go to bars and you're going to be identified as something, you know what I mean, that's a good be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, one of the bars, they have, like, a fete type night on the last Friday of the month. And then there's another bar who basically will then have the leather guys in, so it's a leather meet. And obviously, you probably know about DILF, which goes on in all the major cities. You know, obviously when that hits Glasgow and Edinburgh, and do it everywhere as well. So it's a good kind of mix, but the best thing about being in the gay scene is the fact that if you can actually go in there and you're non-judgmental and you just let folk live their life and do what they want to do, because at the end of the day, they're not judging you, they're just doing what they want to do.
I just find it annoying. In some countries, it's still not very well known.
Sorry, Ben, you're breaking up with that question.
I said I hate how it's not very well known in some countries.
Yeah, it's like anything in life. There's no fairness in everything, you know what I mean? There's always something else that'll come along, or someone else will know like this, or they'll know like that. It's just treating people with respect. Remember, they're people first, and forget about sexuality, forget about anything else round about it. People are people, and that's who you should be respecting. Because at the end of the day, we're all human.
We are. What advice would you give to the younger generation coming out now?
Now, I'll be honest with you, I think it's so much easier for them now, due to the fact that I think, especially for the younger generation, there's a lot more tolerance about the younger ones these days, where it's that whole thing, like being HIV positive, then having to say to people that you're positive, and you get that whole thing having to disclose.
Yeah.
And once that's out, it's out, you know what I mean? There's nowhere to put the back in the door. It's just coming out. You may think it's going to be a big deal. You may think you're going to get this or that, and you can only do it in time when you're comfortable. But the main thing is, it might not be as big as what you think it is, and folk are more accepting, rather than thinking it's going to be, oh, they're going to hate me, they're going to toss me aside. Might not be. They may just embrace even more and love you even more for it.
I've lost you again.
Sorry, Ben, you're breaking up, pal.
You're breaking up a bit as well. 1 minute. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now or not?
I can't hear you, you're breaking up.
1 minute.
I'm hearing the feedback from my phone.
I said, would you be able to help me think of a few ideas, like, for video-wise? Because I've done the coming out stories. I'm trying to get a few more people to do coming out stories themselves and asking them about how they came out. But would you be able to help me think of a few ideas as well?
Yeah, I can look into that for you. I mean, even if like maybe the next like couple of weeks or so, we could create a structure for you and what sort of questions to go forward with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Say for instance, you'll get like 5 or 7 questions that you ask everybody the same thing,
Yeah.
but you'll get different answers from them. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you structure it in a way that you know what you're going to be asking and you know what you're looking for coming back.
I've just thought of a good one. Is there a way we could talk about the Terry Higgins Trust? Because I've heard bits about it, but not very much.
Yeah, well, I can run that past, you know, like obviously the contacts and management stuff like that. Could quite easily, you know what I mean, do something along that line.
And also,
because I mean, I do, like I said to you earlier on today, I do night groups and stuff like that. So, and I've always got folk that, you know, they're always up for volunteering or coming forward to either tell other stories, talk about their HIV, or talk about, you know, like coming out.
Would there be a way that you could try and see if you can find any older gay / lesbian people as well?
Yeah, well, within our work as well, you know, we do everybody. It's so diverse.
Yeah.
I mean, within it, we've got straight people, gay people, we've got lesbians, all ages. We've trans. So I mean, we're all inclusive. So we've got that whole gamut of people there.
Because they're the people like I mostly want to interview. Because I, as you know, I've interviewed 2 at the minute, gay people, but I want to see if I can interview a few lesbian women, if you know what I mean, as well.
Yeah. Well, all I can do is really run it past. I mean, I would probably know about 3 or 4 people that would be up for helping out on this. You know what I mean? Because again, like you, they've come to me and I've jumped in, and they always say, like, if you need anything from us, just let us know. So, yeah, no doubt, like through the next few weeks, I can work on stuff like that for you, no problem, and try and get you, you know, like a bigger list of folk and a bigger audience.
It would always be probably good if I'd recommend, like, instead of using Zoom, I use Streamlabs. You've not probably heard of it, but it's a kind of streaming thing, and you have a big group chat like that.
Yeah, well, I can look into that. I've heard of that actually. One of the other organisations that we know, they use that.
So yeah, that's mostly about it from me. So I'll piece that together and sort that out, and then I'll send it you so you can have a look.
Like, yeah, but if you feel it doesn't work out, we can always arrange another date and redo it. You know what I mean? As I say, review what you've got and see if you're happy with any of it. And if you are, you can edit it down to whatever way you want to do it.
Thank you.
And then from that, it's a case of like, if you need anything else, you can come back and I can do a second part for you.
Yeah. Okay then, thank you.
Does that help you out?
Yeah, that helps me. Yeah, thank you.
No problem, you're more than welcome.
Okay, have a good evening.
Okay, Doc, then.
Okay then.
No problem. I'll speak to you later.
Okay, speak to you later.
Right, bye.
Bye. Okay, sorry about that, guys. We had a bit of technical difficulties with my Zoom and Billy's Zoom. So we were asking you, what advice would you give to the younger generation?
Well, the younger generation, I mean, that if me and my eyes have got it made, because everything's there for them. But I come from an era where, like I criminalised for being a homosexual man. I mean, born in the late 50s. You know what I mean? It was a prison sentence if you were caught doing anything like that. But for the younger generation to be out and be gay, I mean, they've got the world in front of them because they've got more rights than we ever had as we came forward.
Yeah.
But also remember, and this is the one thing I stress, especially when it comes to marches, is the fact if it wasn't for the older generation going forward, they wouldn't have the freedoms they've got today.
Bit laggy again.
Sorry, you're breaking up again, pal.
Yeah, you're breaking up. That will do, Melcy. Really, but thank you. I think I've lost you again.
So when you're speaking, Ben, it's breaking up, but then I'm hearing myself coming back.
1 minute. Sorry guys, again.